Okay, hello guys. Coming in a little hot. Need to turn you down a little bit, but what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be looking at lesson one of the ham radio operator. Now, keep in mind this is only for educational purposes. So let's get started. Here we go. This is going to be video lesson number one, and then we'll have a quiz at the bottom. Now, I'm only going to show you a portion of this. I cannot show it all to you. The reason why is because it would be infringement, but I want to show you this is the ham radio prep, and I want to show you how valuable this is. Excuse me. Don't pay no never mind to that yawn. But anyway, we're going to get straight into it right now.
A club station license with a call sign requires the club must have at least 4 members. You just received your call sign? Let's make sure you know how to use it properly on the air. An amateur station is required to transmit its call sign at least every 10 minutes during and at the end of a communication. You may decide to help out with a community event like a bike race. For a community service communications net, ham radio operators may use a special call sign called a tactical identifier, like race headquarters. The call sign identification rule does not change in this situation. You must transmit your FCC call sign at the end of each communications and every 10 minutes during a communication. Have you heard of the ITU phonetic alphabet? It's a way of converting letters to words, so K becomes kilo. The FCC says its use is encouraged when identifying your call sign on the air. Our call sign of AA1RC would be Alpha Alpha 1 Romeo Charlie. It makes it easier for other stations to understand, and it helps distinguish letters that may sound alike, like J and A. In the United States and its territories, the English language is the only acceptable language to use for station identification when operating in a phone subband. 2 quick things to cover here. While you must give your call sign to identify your station in English, you can talk in whatever language you like for the rest of the conversation. Also, let's take the confusion out of the term phone. Think of it as telephone or voice communications. We leave it as phone in the course because that's the way it appears on the questions on the exam. You've probably heard the term Morse code, but not the term CW. CW stands for continuous wave and is a way to transmit Morse code. It sounds like a single tone, either long or short, that can be used to transmit letters or numbers. It's also acceptable to send your call sign via Morse code even if you're in a phone area of the band. This gives you options to identify. Send the call sign using a CW or phone emission. Here's another term for you. Think of emission as a signal transmission. So you have a call sign from one part of the country. Let's use KL7CC in Alaska. But you want to identify you're operating from another part of the country, like Pennsylvania. That's in call sign area 3. You can add a self-assigned indicator to help avoid confusion. It's usually a slash after your call sign with a number and letter. In the case of KL7CC, adding /W3 or /3 would tell hams they're out of their Alaska call area right now. By the way, stroke, slant, and slash all have the same meaning here. So when asked about KL7CC stroke W3, slant W3, or /W3, answer all of the above, because any of those 3 are acceptable. One really cool way to use your ham radio license is to control drones, planes, and other model craft. Because you do this without a voice signal, you get an exception on station identification. When transmitting signals to control model craft such as boats, cars, and drones, amateurs do not need to identify. What can you say on ham radio? Let's start with the FCC definition, which is, locally or internationally, licensed amateur radio operators can make communications incidental to the purpose of the amateur radio service and remarks of a personal character. You'll hear hams saying hi, talking about the weather, giving an opinion on a new radio, or dozens of other kinds of small talk, all of which are considered remarks of a personal character. This next group of rules are about third-party communications. Let's start with the definition of this. Third-party communications means a message from a control operator to another amateur station control operator on behalf of another person, a third party. Think of third-party communications as exchanging family messages out of a flood zone. The messages that hams would pass are for other people, third parties. Here's another level of complexity on international third-party communications. If the stations we're talking about are in Texas and Morocco, for an example, and they're talking, when a non-licensed person is operating a station under the control of an amateur control operator, the foreign station must be in a country with which the U.S. has a third-party agreement. Third-party communications can be really rewarding, but read up more closely on the rules if you plan to do this type of ham radio operation. Let's get into what you can't say on ham radio. Any indecent or obscene language is prohibited on the air. As ham radio operators, we all have a responsibility to keep the airwaves clean and respect the hobby. Let's discuss the difference between broadcasting and one-way communications. Broadcasting means transmissions intended for reception by the general public. Your local TV and FM stations are broadcasters. Amateur radio operators are not broadcasters. A one-way transmission is something ham radio operators do for things like training and identifying band conditions via a beacon. Allowed items include transmitting code practice, information bulletins, or transmissions necessary to provide emergency communications. Broadcasting is a restricted one-way transmission. The exception here comes in case of immediate risk to public safety. Only in that condition may an amateur station transmit signals in support of broadcasting, program production, or news gathering when no other means are available. But remember this term: only where such communications directly relate to the immediate safety of human life or protection of property. If you want to stay off the FCC's enforcement radar, remember these two things. Don't try and ever block or mess with another station's transmissions. At no time is willful interference to other amateur radio stations permitted. Your station records must be available for FCC inspection at any time upon request of an FCC representative. Don't overthink this. If the FCC asks for paperwork or to inspect your station, don't argue with them if they present the proper credentials. These last two items cover many of the FCC-related inquiries that happen to hams and can result in hefty fines and jail time. Following these two rules closely can save you money and hassle in the long term, and they're the right thing to do. Your amateur radio license doesn't allow you to advertise when you transmit, but you can sell off your spare equipment. You can talk about selling gear when the equipment is normally used in an amateur station and such activity is not conducted on a regular basis. In addition to no commercial selling, you cannot be paid to operate an amateur radio station unless you're a teacher in class. FCC rules say the only time an amateur operator may receive compensation for operating a station is when the communication is incidental to classroom instructions at an educational institution. Okay, enough with restrictions. Let's talk about frequencies. You may not know this, but your state or region has something called a band plan. It's a recommendation on transmit and receive channels and other parameters for auxiliary and repeater stations. Every region has a volunteer frequency coordinator, recognized by local amateurs, that does this work, like keeping repeaters from interfering with each other. The amateur operators in a local or regional area can select their own frequency coordinator to be in charge of frequency assignments. A web search using your state name and band plan should help you find this quickly. When you talk about frequencies in ham radio, you can either use exact frequencies or you can refer to the band. For example, 52.525 MHz is a frequency in the 6 meter band. 146.52 MHz is included on the amateur 2 meter band. We'll discuss frequencies in depth later. This is just a quick item to memorize. Morse code uses dots and dashes to communicate. Because it's so simple, it needs just a very small bandwidth to operate, so a specific frequency range is given. 50.0 megahertz to 50.1 megahertz, and 144.0 to 144.1 megahertz are limited to CW only. Another limitation you should know, the frequencies between 219 and 220 megahertz are limited for fixed digital message forwarding systems only. The technician license is great for VHF and UHF frequencies, which are higher frequencies and generally used for local and regional communications. However, technician licensees have some limited privilege on the HF or high frequency bands. With your technician license, you'll have HF phone privileges on the 10-meter band only. Those frequencies are 28.300 to 28.500 megahertz. SSB, or single sideband phone, may be used by amateurs in at least some segment of all of the bands above 50 megahertz. The maximum peak envelope power output in HF bands for technician class operators is 200 watts. For frequencies above 30 megahertz, up to 1500 watts may be used by technician licensees. There are several bands, including parts of the 70 centimeter band, that ham radio shares with other services, such as military or services in other countries. U.S. amateurs may find non-amateur stations in those portions of the bands and must avoid interfering with them. You should also be careful not to accidentally cross over into another band. There are many reasons not to set your transmit frequency at exactly the edge of an amateur band or subband. You could end up interfering due to calibration error. You could have modulation sidebands or transmitter frequency drift. The correct answer in the exam here is all of the above. The FCC is in charge of radio law and enforcement in the U.S. and its territories, while the ITU, or International Telecommunications Union, guides international communications. You cannot communicate with any country whose administration has notified the International Telecommunications Union that it objects to such communications. You may transmit from any vessel or craft located in international waters and documented or registered in the United States. A space station is just what it sounds like, an amateur station located more than 50 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Any amateur allowed to transmit on a satellite uplink frequency can communicate through an amateur satellite or space station, and many of these fall in the technician class frequencies. The technician class license lets you talk to astronauts in space too. Any amateur holding a technician or higher class license can make contact with the International Space Station, or ISS, on VHF bands. Here's another rule about what you can and can't do on ham radio. Transmitting encoded or encrypted message that hides their meaning is only allowed in a special case: transmitting control commands to space stations or radio-controlled craft. Transmitting music is normally not allowed. There is one exception. You can transmit music only when incidental to an authorized retransmission of manned spacecraft communications. Many amateur radio satellites often have a beacon. A beacon is an amateur station transmitting communications for the purposes of observing propagation or related experimental activities. In layman's terms, a beacon is a station that transmits health or status information. It's one way, so you cannot transmit to a beacon. For many new hams, connecting to a repeater is one of their first activities after getting licensed. It's a great way to chat with other hams in your area. A repeater station simultaneously retransmits the signals of an amateur station on a different channel or channels. It's used to repeat your signal from a high location and can help you communicate farther. Repeaters are typically located on tall buildings, towers, and mountaintops to relay handheld and mobile radio stations. You'll typically find repeaters in the VHF and UHF bands. This allows for wide area communications around a city or county. Repeater operation is an example of automatic control. It's automatic and doesn't need anyone operating. But it's not the only type of station that can retransmit. Repeater, auxiliary, or space stations can automatically retransmit the signals of other amateur stations. If a repeater retransmits communications that violate FCC rules, the control operator of the originating station is responsible. Public service communications are an important part of amateur radio. One group you'll hear of is RACES, the Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Service. RACE's functions include using amateur radio frequencies, ham stations, and certified ham operators in emergency management of civil defense communications. When the exam asks about RACEs, the answer is all of the above. Other amateur radio groups like ARES, the Amateur Radio Emergency Service, are more prominent in some regions, so check around if you're interested in emergency communications. This next section covers a term called control operators and discusses who is responsible for radio control, because someone has to be in control. For the next few minutes, think of the term station as a handheld radio, because it's a combination of radio and antenna. It's a mini station. The person who controls the radio is called the control operator. An amateur station is never permitted to transmit without a control operator. An amateur station control point is the location at which the control operator function is performed. I'm pushing the buttons to control the radio. I'm at the control point. The station licensee designates the station control operator. If it's my radio station and I'm holding it, I have the license, so I make myself the control operator. Unless otherwise stated, the station licensee is assumed to be the control operator. Let's talk about how privileges follow the control operator. The class of operator license held by the control operator determines the frequency privileges. At no time may a technician class licensee be the control operator of a station operating in an exclusive amateur extra class operator frequency segment. Here are a couple of quick scenarios to help you understand that. If I let you use my handheld with your call sign, you become a control operator and are restricted to your license privileges. If I let you operate my home radio, but I remain with you as control operator and we use my call sign, we can use my privileges. When there are two of us together, the control operator and the station licensee are both responsible for following the rules. Privileges follow the control operator, no matter whose equipment it is. The control operator does not need to be the person using the key or push to talk button at that time. For example, if a group is operating multiple stations in a contest, there are many operators using AA1RC at the same time, but there is one control operator supervising them. They can use all the privileges of that control operator. Yes, our friend all of the above is back for this question. When the FCC talks about remote control in Part 97 rules, they are talking about operating your station from afar. This is not about remote control craft, so don't get tricked by the remote control aircraft boat answer. Operating the station over the internet is an example of remote control as defined by Part 97. For example, if you have a ham radio shack at your home, you may want to operate the station remotely over the internet while you're away from home. The following are true about remote control operation. The control operator must be at the control point. A control operator is required at all times. The control operator must indirectly manipulate the control. Yes, this is another all of the above on the exam. So let's recap. In Lesson 1, we introduced the FCC, talked about call signs and who you can talk to, covered some of the rules for things you can't say and do, like broadcast or transmit music, introduced some of the frequencies and bands you'll use, introduced different kinds of stations like repeaters, satellites, and beacons, covered station control and remote control operating. Now take the practice quiz and read the article to reinforce this information. Then move on to Lesson 2 on operating procedures.
We just got finished watching the first one. Trying to get Connor on here, a good friend of mine, and trying to get him on here through Google. Google Meets. I just noticed I sent that to the wrong person. So maybe we can get him connected up here in just a minute there. Just sent him the link on his phone, so maybe he can get in here in just a minute. We can have a couple different people, and hopefully that this will be helpful to you. We could always go back and redo it, but you can actually take the lesson quiz, and as you can see, let me pull this one up just a little bit. I may have to join Connor's meeting. He set one up. Let me see. Let me see. If he, guess he sent me some type of link. I'm not sure if he sent it. No, I don't see. He didn't email me. Leave. Okay. Connor. Nope. I have to put him on this way. Let's see if I can get Google Meets pulled up this way. It's supposed to be already on here, but it's not, so let's see. Add. I guess we can put them on FaceTime here. Don't want to show everybody's number. That would be bad. New FaceTime. Guess we could do them like this here. Trying to get him. We might have to just stop this one here and have to go over here. Okay, now you're live on here. I was trying to get you on the meets, that way I could still have the screen, because I'm screen sharing from the iPad over. So let me go back over here and return back to the home screen. Now, what is your? Now you didn't email it. You sent it to me, but I'm on Windows, so I can't send copy and paste. So you either have to email it to me, or you sent it to me. But let me see if I can type it in here. It didn't actually show me the meeting. Okay. I need to copy this link's what I need to do. So your meeting is copy. I'm gonna have to just email this to myself, I guess. So, but you're live on YouTube right now. Wave at everybody. And what we're doing is we're studying for the technician class. So that's pretty cool. I guess you heard that. Let me see. Guess I got to. You gonna send me an email? I'll send it to myself. Are you still? Is that one link still good? Okay, hold on just a second then. Can you pull up your email? Like on your iPad? Okay. Because I just sent you another let's see, another link here. Might be because which email do you prefer? The first one or second one? Okay. Let me do it right here, and this should help you out here. Resend it like this: 0123 at Gmail, and you should get an email. Now, you should be getting a link here any second. That way, we can have all that worked out. Let's see. Put it back in. I'll put it in pop-out mode. Open picture in picture. There we go. Now, did you have it that way? I mean, did you get it in the email? Okay. See, nobody can hear. They can see you, but they can't exactly hear you. That's why I was wanting to put you the other way. Okay. Alright. Well, for right now, we're going to do this so we can have him still on the screen. This might just work just like this on FaceTime. If I can get the audio, if I could just get the audio to work. Let's see. I'll have to move mine over here because you're up on the screen, but right now you're not. Okay. Can you see yourself now? Okay. Might could just do it like this to where I can get try to get mine up out of the way of the question. Okay, there we go. Now we're up on here. Have you got to take your technician yet or no? Was that a no? Okay, so we can just cut that off. We don't even need that. Just don't worry about this works. I forgot that I could put you like this. We just got to get the audio back so that we can hear you. Hopefully I can do that here in just a second. Huh? No, Is it not going? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get back. That happened when we did this way. That's why I'm trying to actually get it back right now. Okay. Yep, trying to get the audio back right now. Let's see, can we get it? Okay. I'm not sure what's going on here. Really am not. This is supposed to be right here. Properties. Webcam 2. Come down. Apply. Flip vertical. I didn't know you could do that. That's pretty cool. Okay, direct sound. Let's hit that. Tech audio. Huh. For whatever reason, it was working when, maybe it's because, no, I got that up. I don't know what's going on here. I just can't hear you over the iPad. That's kind of why I wanted to put you on the Google call, so I could actually, control the audio and everything. But I don't know what's going on here. It just ain't working for whatever reason. In other words, I can hear you over the phone, but they can't hear you. Take all these off. We don't need these. It was working just a minute ago. I don't know exactly what happened there. This was working. Okay. Let's try that. Now say something. Yeah. I can't get this thing to work. This is crazy. So you say that you have not got your... Try that. Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. It's supposed to be right there, but it just ain't working. So that's why I kind of wanted you on Google Meets, because this right here is just not working at all. Wanting everybody to be able to hear you. But you can email me a Google link if you want to, and I will accept it here. Connor Peach, yeah, I got that one. That is very strange. Very strange. There's chat. There's voice. You don't want to be on camera, we can do voice. I don't know if voice lets you do video or not. Let's see if it does. I don't think it does. Nah, it don't. Meet does though. Okay. Do you have a code? We'll get this figured out in just a minute, y'all. Okay. So, do you have an active one? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because you sent me one a while ago. I don't know if you're still on there or not. But you sent it to my phone, not email. And I can't get the link from there to there. When I typed it in, it said it wouldn't work. So, I don't know. That's why I was trying to send you one. But I don't guess you ever got it. Oh yeah, mine's just kq4ccm@gmail.com. Nope, KQ, Kilo Quebec. Kilo Quebec 4, Charlie Mike. I've started streaming on the Clapper app. I don't know if you have actually got a chance to get on there or not, but we actually started that, and it's been pretty good. Now my camera is not showing because my camera's not showing because of the thing there. Now can you hear me? I think you. Yeah, I think you can hear me now, right? So you can't hear me? You hear me through the phone? What happened? Says you're joining the call when somebody lets you in. So it says we're waiting for you to let me in. Yep. Should get a notification on your side that says that I have rejoined. I know it. He's on there. I know it. I know it. I don't know what the world's going on there. I just couldn't get things going for some reason. Okay, I'll email you a link. I'll email you a link. Just give me just a second. I hear you, Andy. KF0CSI. I know you can hear me. Alright, let me see. I ain't gonna say a minute. When I say a minute, recommended actions. Alright, Google Meets. New meeting. Create a meeting. Okay, let's see. Code might work better. Let's see. Joined. Hey, you're joined. Are you joined? No, you're not joined. So, turn camera off. So there, we're gonna do that. I wish it would let you just do it without having to do all this stuff. Let's see. Host controls, meeting details. Wish I could just have a little code. Share their screen. Yes. What the? Oh crap! I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. I know I said I'd have it figured out in a second, so now I got to email you, I guess. I'm going to email you directly. Alright, I'm going to hit reply. Really? That stupid thing. Hold on a second. Didn't even send the stupid link. You have to get the second one. The first one didn't even send it, like something stupid. And then once you get it, I'll get it on my side. Okay. Then I'll let you in. And then you'll be able to see everybody and everything. Then hopefully you'll be able to hear on here. Me and Andy did this the other day. So I guess you're headed home then, ain't you, Andy? Okay, did you get it? Saying what now? Okay, did you hit the ask to join then? Okay. Cool deal, cool deal. Okay. Okay, pin to your main screen. Somebody. What in the world? Okay. finally got it on there. Are you asking for a code? What in the world? Why that code keeps coming up? That's weird. Okay, I can't see you, so I don't know what the deal is. You must be on your webcam instead of your iPad. Let's see if I can even hear him. Yep. Oh, don't worry about it. It's all right.
Yeah, I think I'm getting sunburned.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. Just exit it out there. Well, I was just going to let you go through the questions and everything, and probably going to redo this lesson because I wanted it to be like streamlined, but it wasn't so streamlined. This live stuff ain't new to me, but in the way that I'm doing it is a little bit new to me. I got to get ready. May have to end this one. Got to go up there and see what in the world is taking them so long. I may get back on Clapper. I don't know if you've heard of Clapper. Have you heard of Clapper? We have been going live over there. So hi. Oh, okay. Yep. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. I know we didn't get as far as I wanted to, but I gotta go check out see what's going on with the load here. So we've been sitting here for quite some time, and just wanted to make sure that we at least showed you this, and wanted to too much going on at one time. Let's see if I can get this very quick. I think we're going to end it over here. I can't. It's blurry. Let's see. Trying to take a picture, y'all. But I think we're going to end it over here and everything. I got my wife and everybody else calling. Got about 5 things going on, so probably going to end it over here for a while. We may go live on the old Clapper app here for long. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Y'all, you can wave there, Connor. They can't hear you, but you can wave.